Hello and welcome to Plate Stack Chat. A little bit earlier, but hopefully you're still here with us. If you are new here, my name is Jason, and on this show, I like to bring on some interesting guests for a chat. And of course, this Saturday, the Grid League will be hosting their second set of matches for the season. So I thought, why not get two rookie players that everyone is talking about? Before we welcome them to the show, just a quick thank you to our sponsor, Strivey. If you haven't checked them out, you can head over to strivey.app and have a look at what they can offer to help you streamline your programming and share it with your athletes. This year, we saw a rookie team take to the grid in the Houston Bandits. So please welcome two stars of the team to the show. First up is a man that most know as an analyst of CrossFit and fitness, but now he's showing he doesn't just talk the talk, but will walk the walk, or at least lift the barbell. It is John Young.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming back, John. I don't think I've had you on the show since you became a dad.
So, I don't think so. Yeah, I think we were talking about Rebecca Vidison last time I was here.
Oh wow, that was a while ago then. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, welcome back. Happy to have you here. Of course, John is not alone, and his partner in grid crime is joining us, a man that can go up and over a ramp on his hands faster than most of us can on our feet. If you didn't take note of his performance on the grid for the handstands, then it was probably for his dance moves. It is, of course, Matt Rattay. Oh, I think I've said his name wrong.
No, you said it right, Rattay.
Was that right? Rattay?
That's good. Yeah.
Not like Ratatate.
Hey, I used to be called Ratatat back in school. So you can go with either, or tater tot, or fat Asian guy.
Normally, I might not go with that. But
hey, tater tot is reserved for the fittest little person. Okay, that's his nickname, and he's. I don't want to take that from him. He loves it.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, normally,
you know who that is? Tim Murray.
Tim Murray.
Mm-hmm. He's the fittest little person in the world. He goes by tater tot.
Oh, yes, I know who you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not being offensive. I promise. That's what he.
When you said little person, my brain automatically went.
Dude, no, I like this. He's legit. Yeah.
Well, I mean, August, you were here the other week. This was here the last time you were on. You commented on the show. I don't know what this guy's talking about now.
Why? Can I ask you a question? It's 9:00 over there, right?
Well, it should be 9:00 when we go live. It's 8:45 because we've jumped on early.
Right, 8:45. Why do you have a suit on?
Right. So this has been talked about a lot. This is it because I feel like when I'm speaking to these wonderful athletes, I need to distinguish the difference. Right. I'm not an athlete. I'm not jumping on the floor with you. So I want to give you guys the respect you deserve and dress accordingly. That's my new move. And I think that, like, on this, it matters less. It's less noticeable. But like, I noticed, I was thinking about it a lot after the Rogue Invitational. Mm-hmm. So like, at CrossFit events, everybody dresses like they're about to do the workout, right? So you look in the crowd, and everybody there looks like they're just about to jump on and try and grab the barbell. And when we were having to grab the athletes for interviews, it was like really hard because you're just standing there, and so are all the fans sort of around you, and you're trying to be like, yeah, but I actually need. Like, I need you, versus them just sort of wanting you to sign, something as they walk past. Sure. So I thought, you know what? Let's make sure that there's a nice difference.
So you feel like you it's a way of sticking out that you're here for a different reason.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
Thank you.
Hey, that's what the announcers on the grid do. They come out, and I was like, man, they're dressed up for prom right now. Like,
it is crazy. I'll be honest for like how the way I describe it to CrossFit people, who don't understand it, I was like, it's basically like a niche of CrossFit if you're a specialist of any kind. But obviously there's people who don't do CrossFit that do grid. That's how specialized it is. You could be that special in your choice of fitness and play grid. But it's I would call it a niche of CrossFit. So technically it's like a niche of a niche, because CrossFit's a niche sport for most of the population, right? And the professionalism of an actual grid match is wild. It is insane. Coming from NorCal, and I don't know if you knew that competition was going on, Jason, but
it was going on.
It is just slightly different in like the way it executes itself. It's pretty wild. I definitely appreciate it. I think it's one of the coolest things about grid, at least from whenever I took away from our first match. I thought that was one of the coolest things.
Yeah, because I think
like we're more professional.
Well, I think like 2 seasons ago, generally the commentators were wearing maybe like a polo shirt with like the grid logo on it. I think that was kind of the thing, and then suddenly they just upped their games a bit. And I think last season, like Cassie wore this like pink suit, and it was just like, right, okay, I see what's going on here.
Yeah.
So that actually is partly what's inspired all of this. I was like, you know what, they're doing it, and it looks great, and it just, as you said, it looks very professional. It makes you guys, you're professionals, so you come dressed professionally for what you're about to do. So I'm gonna dress professionally for what I'm pretending to do. And that way nobody then says, hey, like somebody's missing, can you jump on? I'll be like, would you not jump on? But so sorry, guys.
Yeah, that was pretty
I could
cool
probably have done those free handstand walks, but I'm in the suit. It's just
I was like, when we got our jerseys and putting on our jerseys, I was like, man, I feel like a legitimate athlete now, like having a sports team jersey on,
Yeah.
Oh, so, I didn't feel that way at all. I was like, man, I should have got 2
because you didn't like your shirt, buddy.
I was like, man, I'm talking about my grid body. Good grief, this accentuates everything.
Yeah, they do feel like they're almost painted on some of the grid uniforms. Yeah,
I mean, back in 195 days, I would have loved this. Right. But like, it's just, man, I wasn't feeling it when I got there.
Pulling the move, you pull the shorts up a little higher, to hide that little poochy pooch that we've got.
Just don't pull them up too high, because then you've got a different problem.
Dude, they're high enough. They're high enough as is. Or Matt, you know what picture I'm thinking of? Like, if I could have, that would be a great grid picture. The picture that I sent in the group, you know what I'm talking about?
Which no, I don't know which one you're talking about.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Resend it.
Yeah.
Dude, there was one photo that you could see my my shorts pockets more than you could see the bottom of my shorts. My pockets were lower than my shorts were, and I was like, that's all right, showing off the quads. That's what I've got.
Yeah, you got if you've got it, flaunt it, right? That's what they say. I will just say, if anybody is like, oh, I'd love to know how Matt got into CrossFit in the first place, because I heard he was a wrestler that didn't like wrestling, and then all these kind of things. Well, you guys were both on together. It seems you have to do everything together. You were both on the In Off the Bench podcast, the Grid and Grind show, and they kind of went through your history of how you stumbled into CrossFit, both of you, and different things there. So if anybody wants to hear that, go over there and listen to that show. I'm not gonna rehash all of that, because what's the point? I am curious about your first match, your first kind of, obviously you'd done the training. I mean, John had mentioned that he was going to be joining this team at the end of the previous season, and then there was a lot of drama. There was a lot of drama around John Young.
Are we going to talk about this drama? Is that what we're doing? Are we going to talk about our last match, or you want to talk? Or you want to get into that?
Well, what I'm more curious about is how you guys felt going in to. So obviously, like, because there's the internet and then there's the reality, right? And so voices are much louder on the internet. Everybody's much more opinionated. And then when they see you in person, it's like, well, actually, I probably wouldn't have said that to his face. So I was just kind of curious, when you turned up on, that first match day, was there a level of anxiety over kind of, are people still going to be upset about this? Am I like the black sheep of grid because of what I've done? Or, who cares? We're here to, we've got a job to do. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it or not, I have upset people before Grid League, so I have a lot of practice.
Yeah.
And like talking to people after the fact, right? But I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if people would not like me or people would like me. I feel like it was kind of a split. But I think if they didn't like me, they just didn't talk to me, which is fine. And then I had a lot of people that came up to me that, were like, I'm really happy, or I'm excited to see you in Grid. I hope you're having a good time. I didn't know what to think of you, but like after hearing you and other podcasts talk about it, like I kind of think you got shafted by, made to look bad, if you will, a little bit more than what you actually said. And no, I would say like 97% was all good times and people just happy to meet me. I had a whole bunch of grid people that introduced themselves to me. And then I was standing like 10 feet from Stroka at one point. And like I was ready for anything that he wanted to be ready for. I was like, if you want to do something, like I'm ready for it. And like, but just standing, I was watching the other grid match go on. And I don't know if he saw me or not, but I saw him, and I was just going to stand there for a minute. Well, our team was already done. We were like 2 hours past us being done, so we were all just kind of walking around. And then that way, if he wanted to have that interaction, we could have it. And then and he didn't say anything, so I was like, okay, well, I guess that's that. And then, but yeah, for the most part, everybody was really good. Everybody was really cool. I met a lot of grid people that I had not met before, and they were just excited for me to try it. And you know, I think the Lions were excited to beat us, surely, but everybody was good spirits.
Yeah, oh, good. I'm just, it's funny because it's kind of one of the things that gets, again, the beauty of the internet, right? There's always the next thing. So there's always the next thing, but and I think particularly it's like that's something that like transcended grid, right? So even people that didn't know anything about Grid League, they would have seen what was going on because it was talked about and because of who you are and because of, barbell spin and all of that. And then so much other stuff happens over the course of, the next couple of months. But I'm still curious, like, okay, but we haven't had they haven't met up yet. So that's still hanging there. And obviously then.
Yeah, we had an opportunity to meet. They said no.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, Mather talked to Sophia, and he said, "Hey, we're thinking about having you in the wild go like be the first match," and she's like, but she's like, but they wanted to know how you felt about it, not obviously how they felt about it, right? And I'm like, I'm all for it, like especially like I have in my mind, one, like all of their players left. So like, yes, absolutely. And like, if they're the championship team, I'm still for it. Yeah, we probably will get smacked. We still did, but I'm still for it. You know what I mean? I want to play the best of the best and be like, okay, that's the best that there's going to be. Eventually, maybe we can get better than that. Right. Like that. So I'm all for exposing myself to like this is the best there is. But, and I don't care. I don't care about the drama. If the drama happens, cool. Like I feel, and Jason, we haven't met in person, but I feel that people have a very different perception of me online than when they meet me in person. And a lot of times, like people like, you're not, they would say like, you're not what I expected. And then people end up respecting me in the long run for it. And maybe that's my fault of throwing out a bad perception online. I don't know what it is, but it's a lot different in person.
John is also shorter than you would think. You think he's taller.
For a second, I thought you were going to say he's shorter than me, and I was like, I don't think that's possible.
Absolutely not. But, absolutely not.
I was like,
I'm not very big. I'm a regular sized guy.
Whoa! You are big. You are just not. You're not over 6 foot. All right. Yeah. I thought John was over 6 foot from all the things that I had seen until I met him at TFX
just that
last year.
That big personality that he's got.
Wow, you're so tiny.
Hey, being 5'7" 3/4 is still, pretty close to average in America. I am above average in Korea, which is the nationality on my mom's side.
I agree. You're killing it.
I'm above average, baby.
I think that's been one of my favorite thing about going to like in-person events was discovering that while yes, among kind of all the people I interact with on a daily basis, I am still probably the shortest person there.
You should meet Sevon.
I then go into like
you'll be taller than Sevon.
Suddenly I'm regular height.
Well, the thing is like the people don't realize the guys that shoot like the CrossFit like documentaries and whatnot, and like I realized when we went to regionals, they're shooting cameras from their belly button height. So like I thought Rich Froning was like 6 foot. I thought Matt Frazier was like 5'10", and you go to meet those guys, and I'm like, I can see the top of Matt Frazier's head. Mm-hmm. Like, what is going on here? But it's because they're like talking to him, and they hold him all the way down here. So it makes everybody look like they're massive human beings. We're not. If you're good at CrossFit,
big personalities. You're not tall. they lift big weights. It's just we just sort of infuse that idea into it.
I think
Maybe.
that adds to it though. Like if the camera makes you seem bigger than you are and you are very strong, like you just assume this person is really big. Freaking Lauren on our team. Lauren thought I was 6'5", 260, like a freaking middle linebacker in the NFL, big. And I'm like, no, Lauren, I'm a regular guy.
So this is something interesting to look into with grid then, because you hear a lot of talk about like grid speed, right? So grid speed, and one of the kind of throwaway lines now is sort of that it's faster than you think. Like it's you watch it online, it looks fast, but actually doing it, actually being there, it's even faster, right? I'm curious if it's going to be the same with like grid height. People are like, oh, you think these people are tall, right? They look tall. They look tall on the grid, but actually it's a small grid. They're all tiny, and so it's just camera tricks.
I think that's like, I used to think watching the NBA, I was like, whenever Steph Curry walked out there, I was like, oh, dude, that dude's my height. Like he's going out there doing it for the little guys.
Oh, you've done the opposite.
Like, yeah. Oh, dude, I was like, wait, you're not 5'10", you're 6'3". It's just that you're standing next to 7'4" dudes, and that's why you look like you're my height. That's the problem.
They're also so skinny. Like
skinny.
LeBron looks so thick in the NBA, right? He looks very thick. I mean, I saw LeBron for the first time. I'm like, dude, that's the thickest the NBA's got. Like he was so skinny. He's just 6'8", like with 6'8" with a little muscle.
Yeah. Like, look, I'll get you on my John Young Barbell Club program. We'll get some muscle on you.
We're playing in the NFL immediately. That's a Hall of Fame tight end right there if he does that. But
jumping back to a comment you made about potentially having gone up against the Wilds as your first match. In retrospect, are you happy that you got to go against the Lions? Because you said, and I quote a few seconds ago, go against like the best of the best. Like if that's the best you've got, and then you kind of, even if we get beaten, like we know what we need to do, how we need to improve. So the Lions this year are like a super team of sorts, combining two really strong teams from last year with the Aces and the Lions. And as you've said, the Wilds lost a massive number of players, which they're very keen to point out. And I will do it again now, that they lost a lot of players, because there was sort of talk of, they lost 2 or 3 players, because obviously they lost Griffin, they lost Amanda, but they lost a lot of players. It was not 2 or 3 players. It was like 11 players that they lost from their roster. So just so people know. So even though that's technically the championship team, it's not. I mean, it's
I don't think there should be any expectations on them.
So if you'd gone against them, like, are you happy then that you went against the Lions? Because that was something that really
I'm gonna say no, because I think we would have beaten them, especially what they like looked like. And I mean, it's no offense to them; they're just as new as we are. But like, I think if you like look across the times and everything, because they have the times of the fastest things and everything, I think we would have ended up beating them, which I mean, that's always nice to start out 1-0, but it literally would be the 2 worst teams going against each other. It's not like, and like, I'll call it what it is. Like I know what that is, but I do think if we wouldn't win, I'm glad it was against one of the best teams. That's kind of what I'm saying. Because like, if like that's the best that grid has to offer, cool. We see what that is. A lot of times we were ahead in a lot of those those races, and then we would make a mistake. They made no mistakes, and then they win. Right? Like that happened a lot. And I think I don't think we would have won, but it would have been very close if we made no like rookie mistakes. But with the Wild, I think we would have beaten them in that match. So, it's hard to say, no, I would have rather been beaten by the best team than win. No, of course I would rather win. But I don't know if we're winning against any of the other teams. So I'm glad we were against one of the best teams.
Isn't fun the biggest priority anyway? Yeah, I think so.
It always is. You always have to have fun. But I do think that because of the team that we were going against, it was one of those things that we didn't have any it was like the expectations were from everybody. We're not supposed to win, right? They're I think the number 2 ranked team going into the season. We're the last ranked team. Everybody's like, well, we expect the Bandits to lose. So if anything, it almost helped us, because we're like, well, shoot, like we can swing for the fences and just see what the hell happens. And like, if we lose, it was expected. If we win, the league is like, what the hell? Like, what is this team? So, but we did learn a lot from that one match.
So that's something I'm thinking, like, while like projecting your season forward, right? Like, yes, if you'd gone against the Wilds, maybe you would have won. But maybe that would have been detrimental then to the rest of your season. Because you're saying like there were races that were very close, that maybe you were even ahead in moments, and rookie mistakes cost you time, and then you got beaten. Now, if those rookie mistakes had cost you time, but you still won the race because you were that far ahead of the other team, I don't know if you would attack those mistakes with the same like diligence that you do
and
now, because so maybe this was the best start to the season for you and getting you ready for all the future races.
Time will tell. I
believe in you.
When you say grid speed, I don't think grid speed like is physical. I think grid speed's mental.
Yeah.
I think people like get way ahead of themselves and they try to go way too fast because everything seems so fast. And in practice, when you time your things, you time it against what you see on YouTube in prior matches. And if you're beating those times in practice, that means you're fast enough. You don't need to go faster. So like, I think people get so like amped up or nervous or anxious, but that's all mental. And I think that type of stuff will calm way down once since we've gotten a match under our belts. And I think way less rookie mistakes will be made. But I kind of agree with you. I think if we beat the Brigade, maybe we wouldn't have beaten the Brigade if we went against the Wild in our first match. But again, like, it's easy for me to say until like it happens, right? Yeah. We get beat by the Brigade, and then I'm not gonna lie, the Sharks are going to be a really hard match. So like we start 0-3. Yeah, I would have rather taken that win no matter what, I
do think the Brigade is a really interesting second match for you guys, because they're a strong team. They've got a lot of seasoned players. They've got some rookies that are good rookies as well. But you're right, they're not the Sharks. Sorry, Brigade. Sorry, Jess. But they're not the Sharks, right? The Sharks have come in kind of clear favorites this season. If you're talking to
they're definitely the Yankees.
Yeah.
I think the Sharks are the Yankees. I think it's like a perfect analogy for them. They're the Yankees.
I'm also curious by the fact Yankees that I know that Fico Gomez contacted both of you signing up to the Bandits, right?
I wouldn't take it back in a heartbeat. I love being. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't either. Yeah,
it's good. Just checking.
We could go 0-4, and I'll be like,
now if they would have actually given cars away like that, I would have been like, wait, hold on, wait a second. We get
much
cars?
better. Yeah.
But I think, like going against them as your next match would have been really tough. Like that would still be really hard to kind of get a barometer on where you guys fit in the league, like where you rank. The Brigade's a good one. They've won so far, so that they won their match, so that's a good start for them. So if you guys could be the team that caused the upset of kind of end their run. It could be it could be a really close race. It could be one of the teams destroys the other. But I think it will be a much more interesting match to watch. And you're right, coming from your previous match, I'm looking forward to seeing kind of all the lessons that have been learned. Because it's also the other element with grid is sort of where you're meant to be standing at different, like it's what you're doing when you're not working, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of that. Whereas, generally in CrossFit, it's like, well, if I'm working, I'm working. And if I'm not working, it doesn't really matter where I am. Maybe I just need to make sure I'm behind a certain line and it's fine. And in grid, it's like, no, you need to be in that box, or you need to not have crossed that line, or all those reps that look great, they're not counting because you are standing over here. Like there's those kind of elements, which I think is again something you just need to get your head around, right?
Well,
and remember, while you're also counting reps, while you're also trying to remember to breathe, while you're trying to race a team.
Well, there's an experience, right? Like that's the thing. After our first match, now it's like we literally now have done an entire race at the pace that it's supposed to be done, and now it's like, okay, now we know these things. Like, what was it? After triad, I did 16 hang squat cleans, which gave John the win in the triad and hang squat cleans for that one. But if he doesn't stop me, because I get done and like all I'm thinking is like, you're supposed to finish across the line. But he's already standing there because he finished rep ahead of me, and he holds his arm out and he stops me from crossing the line. Little things like that. Like if I do cross the line, then Roth doesn't get a rep.
Those reps don't count. Yeah.
Exactly. So these little tiny things that like, it's just tough because like if we race that team as our second race versus our first race, like I said, like maybe it goes a very different way, right? Yeah. But hindsight's always 20/20. So it's just moving forward and go on to the next one. And we just pray that we'll be 1-1 at the end of the weekend.
And I think the fact that it's a rookie, there are other teams. Well, all the teams have rookies on their team, right? So everybody's got some rookies. The difference is, are there, a few rookies that the more seasoned players can kind of give those reminders, or you will see them literally grabbing and pulling people or stopping them doing stuff, compared to a team that it is a rookie team, which means that it's all like kind of a learning curve for everyone, right? So yeah, but exciting. It's good. Looking ahead to Saturday, which is coming up. I mean, actually, I'm curious as well if you have a favorite format of a race yet.
I don't know. I feel like my favorite format was the last one, but like we were.
I was gonna say that was my least favorite one
we were
after
really,
last time.
we're really bad, so I don't know.
or of the different types of race, because it sort of fits a pattern.
Oh,
right?
every
race you've got the different races. Is there one that like
I got you? My favorite is probably partner forward.
Partner forward, okay.
But I won't be in this partner forward, but it's fine. I told Sophia, I was like, hey, what if I just did the whole partner forward? You think somebody can do it with me? Because I thought it would save time. And I did the entire partner forward, and then was just absolutely roasted after. It was like, okay, I can't do mirror. Just let y'all got to do mirror because I'm not about to do it. And then we ended up not going that route. So, but I just usually partner forward it's very fast, but it's very heavy and skilled at the end. And I'm good at doing heavy things and high skilled things. As long as it's on my legs and not my hands. That's why we have Matt. But like it's like a pistol stick jump over. I'm good at those, or a very high box jump over, or I guess like a heavy thruster is not very skilled, but or
the weight. That's like the weight side, because it's obviously. So if anybody's watching and they don't know how the partner forward works, it will be like two movements repeated down. So it's male, female, one goes, then the other goes. It's repeated down the grid, and like this time it was it kettlebell thrusters? No, it was.
This match is dumbbell thrusters and power cleans.
Okay, and the one you did before
was pistol stick jump overs and kettlebell snatches.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So the kettlebell snatches, the kettlebells are getting heavier, and the pistol stick jumps, the stick is getting higher, which kind of means you can't throw out your super springy bodyweight specialist right at the end. Maybe they'll absolutely smash the jumps, but the kettlebells are going to be really heavy for them, and it's right. So it's kind of and that's actually one of the. I love seeing like these big guys showing kind of how nimble they are.
You got to be mobile, like, and not very many strong guys are mobile. And I think I would, if I, Matt can probably speak to this as yes or no, but I feel like that's probably my best quality is that I'm very, very mobile and also very strong, and that not very many people have that combination. I tell you what, there was a guy I was so impressed with, probably. It'll go over everybody's head, but like this guy on the palms, whoever was doing the last pistols for the guy on the palms was so pretty. His pistol stick jump overs were so pretty. And like, that was the only, like that, like I watched him do it and I was like, I'm not as fast as that guy. And nobody else really impressed me at all, except for that one thing. And obviously I'm looking at the stuff that I'm doing, but like Kidder did the 4 cleans with 315. That's cool. Jason, I could do 6 touch and go cleans at 315. Right. I was, people were struggling at the end on that. And I was just, I thought they would be stronger. I don't know Josh Newell. I know he has no problem, but he wasn't that guy on their team. I know he has no problem with 315 clean.
He's listening.
But like I wasn't impressed by that. Yes, it's cool, but like if I can do it, I'm not impressed by it as far as like a strength thing, right?
Right. Okay.
This dude in the palms was so pretty on his pistol stick jump overs. Like it was. I think I'll be the only one that's impressed by it, but I was because they were so fast for like the height that he was jumping. And now his kettlebell snatches were rough, but it didn't matter because he was so good at that part, right?
I hope he gets to hear this because I'm sure he has
no
love for it. I hope he hears.
I don't know his name, but like
I really hope he got to hear this.
And I was
until his snatches were pretty terrible.
No, I didn't say they were terrible. I said they were rough. Like you got to get. He splits faster than mine. I know that, but like to a point where I don't think I can get faster than him.
Yeah.
Right. Like those kettlebells are nothing for me. You have to be very fluid in your pistol stick jump overs, and mine are. And I had a little bit of a knee injury, so I could only do it on one leg, and that slowed me down on ours. But like before, I was a little bit quicker before I had that going on. But even when I was like really, really like training it to be fast, I couldn't get as fluid as that guy got. And it was just very impressive. Everything else, like there wasn't anything that I thought like I couldn't do. Does that make sense? At least for the things that I was doing or like the speed, right?
Yeah. So I'm distracted by the fact that Matt is also commenting in the comments. So instead of just speaking, Matt, if you want to address anything, just tell me and we'll just pop it up on there and you can So Spin is saying about the jacket. He needs to go back to the start of the show, but I'm looking forward to seeing you in a tux, Matt. That would be nice. You should.
Me and John are yin and yang with each other. You know,
that's right.
Everybody. I'm like, man, everybody gives you so much hate, but you're such a nice dude in person. I don't understand what the heck's going on.
I don't get it.
It's like, was it Avery, one of the girls on our team? She's like, she says it now. She's like, I think Matt is just the nicest person in CrossFit. And I'm like, that's actually been a goal of mine my entire life is like every time I competed, shake hands with the judges, interact with the people. Because sometimes I think people forget that the people around you are also just human beings that just really like fitness in general.
Like grid, grid commentators and Brandon. Like you think Brandon like enjoys people not liking him? The judge that's a little bit stricter than everybody. Yeah, like I told Brandon, I'm like, hey, you're doing awesome. Like I know you for holding a standard. Might get, like a little hate, but like I love it.
So I've invited Brandon on for my next recap show. I've got him coming on because
you got Brandon coming on.
Yeah, I've got Brandon coming on because I'm like, let's address, when there are these calls that people are like, oh, why, what was going on with that? Why was he getting no rep and that one wasn't? Or what was happening here? That I was like, let's just get the main guy on. Yeah, and he can answer all of those questions. So he's coming on Monday.
No rep, and he was so nice about it. We were talking about it afterwards, and he was like, "Hey, man, like, I'm not sure if it was a no rep. We're gonna challenge. Like, we're gonna do a self challenge. Like after this is all said and done, and like we'll look at it or whatever." But then we just had issues with like our other teammate getting no rep for some stuff, and we challenged that instead of challenging my call. So it was one of those things of like they didn't get to interact. My coach Sophia didn't get to talk to Brandon, and Brandon was like, "Hey, man, we're gonna self challenge," which I didn't know that was a thing. And I was like, dude, it's dope on him to be like willing to say, hey, I might have made a mistake. Right.
Yeah,
look at it.
Absolutely. He thought that I was going to come at him when he no-repped Mason. Like,
doesn't he know you're the nicest person?
I don't know if he knows me or not.
John's the second nicest person.
I went back because I wanted to find the comment because Avery said here, John, you are literally the nicest person on the planet. I feel like people cannot not like you once they actually meet you. And then she very quickly followed up with, actually, Matt is nice.
Yeah. She had to hit me. He should have hit me with that. But he thought I was going to come at him for Mason's reps because he no-repped one of Mason's lockout on a triple touch, like the ringer race. And Mason was like right here, and he came down and he no-repped him hard. And then he thought I was coming at him, and I was like, hey, like waved him out like that. And then he was like, that wasn't locked out, man. Come on now. And I was like, oh, dude, I don't care about that at all. Like, I'm just telling you, I appreciate what you're doing. Like, you're doing great. Like, I love it. Keep it up. And then he's like, okay, cool. But he was like already defensive about it. So you can tell people get at him a lot. And I wish every judge was like him.
Yeah. When in doubt, no rep it. And you can always go back and check it, Like if it's a maybe, it's a no. That's how it should be, especially the speeds that we're going, You don't want somebody to get away with something and then now everybody in the world is angry at you. I'd rather have just one person and one team angry at you rather than everybody else watching.
Yeah. I guess that is sort of the I mean, we know how judges like at CrossFit events feel, right? How often they get people come at them. And that's usually one athlete, their coach, their partner that's in the crowd or whatever. Like there's a couple of people that go really. I mean, I remember being at a teens competition, and I could not believe how and not the parents, the coaches were just like ripping these judges to shreds.
It's a little like little league baseball, though.
100%.
I was like, wow, guys,
just saying, like,
just relax.
Anybody's ever been an umpire for a little league, like
as a coach to 3 different teenage games athletes in my past, dude, I had to hold myself. I'd be like, yo, Matt, like, come on now, like, because you just feel like you have to go to bat for these kids because you're like, they're kids. They're not gonna voice up and talk for themselves against the adults who know rep them. So there have definitely been times where I've been like, yo, like, Matt, chill. Like, it's fitness for time. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Come on now. So yeah, but I think that's why.
But when you've then got a whole roster of people that are not happy about a call, like, you can understand that's harder, right? Because even though these people weren't even involved in that race, it's that, they're all wearing the same shirt, they're all on the same team, they all care, and they'll be just as passionate. Look at this. Arthur is just complimenting the audio quality.
I realized we all got mics, man. We all got mics. We're ready for it.
It was the palms, wasn't it? We were talking about the pistol.
Yeah.
Yes.
Arthur, who did the final pistol jump over the sticks for the?
He's gonna go ahead and say himself, so that way he gets the compliment.
Yeah, and I don't think it was him because I know what that dude looks like.
Yeah. When we talk about people that are actually tall, so
it wasn't
having this discussion.
This guy was tall, but he wasn't Archer tall. He wasn't. Archer's his own type of tall.
Yeah, few are Arthur tall. He doesn't belong on the grid. He keeps. All right, I keep getting posted the link, but the thing is, I don't have a I don't have someone in the back who's doing all of this stuff for me. So it's Cody.
It's Cody. Well done, Cody. Whoever,
all right. Well, whoever Cody is, you're a very pretty pistol state.
You got the JY stamp of approval over there, Cody.
Yeah. I wanna caveat this because like people will jump down my throat. I'm only talking about the people that do the stuff that I'm doing. Okay. I'm sure some girls out there were awesome. I'm sure some guys were awesome. I'm not just the stuff that I was doing.
Yeah. Okay. Arthur agrees that he's got amazing pistols. So there we are. Yeah. How is that actually for you both? One of the things that, Grid really likes to promote is the fact that it's co-ed, that, you've got, males and females going head to head, on some of the ringer races and things like that. How's that experience been for you compared to kind of competitions and events you've done in the past? You've both competed at quite a number of different, CrossFit and fitness events. So is it kind of a different vibe, a unique feel being sort of in this mixed team?
How is a ringer or just
no, just in general, the fact that you're I guess you've competed in teams within CrossFit where you're 2 men, 2 women, but it's kind of guys are going to do this, women are going to do that, whereas with Grid it's a little bit more choose your own adventure with certain things.
For sure. I think it's everybody just has to leave your ego at the door. Like the less ego, the better the team is going to be. Even if the team isn't good, like you're only going to be worse if there's a lot of ego about it. I think everybody has their roles. Everybody has their assignments. If somebody messes up an assignment, you're good. We'll get it next time. Like it's not what good does it coming from like, man, you sucked so bad. Like there's not like, you sucked, you know it. Like I know Matt feels bad
Oh,
right?
I was about to say Matt. Don't worry, he's not talking about you.
There's no reason. No, it's not just Matt. We had a lot of people. We had a lot of people. I got no.
I just had the biggest spotlight on it while it was happening.
Yeah. Matt was just very unfortunate. He's the scapegoat of our team's.
I think Matt had like the highest of highs and the lowest of lows.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, 100%. Well, I said it after the match was over. I was like, this was just God letting me know, like, hey, you are amazing at what you do. You get to show off and shine my light. But also remember, I can bring you down and bring you back to earth very quickly. So it was
that's all I need.
But if everybody just constantly reminds themselves that like we're all blessed to be here. We're all blessed to work out for fun. Like it's like it's not super serious, no matter how much serious people want to take it. And like I feel that way about all sports. Like I think NFL players should think like that. I think NBA players should think like that. Like games,
I think that's the thing that always gets me in trouble, because I'm also kind of like, in the grand scheme of things, none of this matters. Like, you know, there are so many bigger issues in life.
When you're training, it's different. Like it is a purpose. We do want to be the best. Like you want to win the championship. You want to be the best team out there for whatever reasons. Like you're training to be the best. Training's different. It's just after it's over.
But I think now as well, like I know, you know, you're both dads, relatively newer dads, right? But I think from that point, you're very much aware that as much as you want to funnel time, energy, strength, you know, commitment into training, and you've maybe got a goal and you're even getting close to that goal, there are certain things that could, you know, if something happened, it's like, look, you need to do this because this is fundamentally going to affect the life of your child. You're like, okay, that
in a heartbeat,
a sport thing does not matter. Like it does not matter in the grand scheme at the moment, for, you know, and not even for people that at the moment they're using that to, you know, like I'm thinking games athletes are like, this is my career. This is how I make money to provide for my family. So it's very, you know, intertwined. Still, ultimately, like it's, you know, it's a sport, it's entertainment. It's, you know, it's giving you a degree of financial stability as much as CrossFit can provide for anyone.
Right.
But still, it's a sport, you know, it's not.
And you're talking about a very, very small percentage of people that can even say that, right? Like this is literally all I do to make my money. That's a very small percentage. But like you said, at the end of the day, like John's saying also, it's like, we're just fitnessing for time. Like whether it's CrossFit, whether it's grid, whether it's high rocks, whether it's like everybody getting so butthurt with each other all the time about things. Like, I'm just like, yo, you guys were
things that don't matter.
Like, can't we all just be friends? Come on.
Yeah. Facts, right? Like, why are we getting so butthurt about this whenever at the end of the day, like you said, like none of it truly matters. It's all for entertainment anyways, right?
Well, actually, I even look at it the other way. I mean, I'm very much you know, I do not compete at all. I do CrossFit for health. Like I'm one of those weird guys that actually does it so that I can, you know, live longer and play with my kids and that.
Most of the 99% of people
is in that camp.
Yeah. Well, that's the best camp to be in, I think. But like that's why for me, grid, high rocks, you know, the games, international functional fitness championships, like whatever it is, if there's something that you're doing or you're watching and that's like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna go, I want to get fit, I want to train. Because actually also for pretty much all of those things, if you came to someone and said, oh, I've seen this thing, I'd like to train for it, where should I go? Like they're probably gonna say, look, there's a CrossFit gym over here, that's probably the best place for you to go because they will have all the equipment you need. So for me, I don't really care what the actual shiny object that got you in was. If it gets you through the door, great, then you're going to benefit from that side of things. So for me, that's so when the kind of the different camps start to go to war, I'm like, I just feel like we're missing the point here a little bit.
No, I agree. I think there's a lot of unneeded drama. Now it is my job to talk about people, but it's or have opinions about people. So, but
which is fine.
Nobody
and no one ever gets upset.
Nobody should be hurt or upset by anything that I say. You can just say I'm just a stupid guy with a microphone. You don't have to. You choose to listen.
You're literally just it's like Hiller gets a lot of crap, but it's like you're literally just putting a camera on something and you're saying, look at this. And John's just saying like, hey, this has happened. This is what's going on. And like people are like, hey man, don't say that about my friend. And they make him do something else, right? Like I know that John got some crap for the pan check stuff, and it's like, what do you want me to say? They haven't done anything in a while. And
that's my opinion. And then it came out and killed it just because I said that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you do it. I like to feel you do it to motivate people. Like you secretly. That's why you're such a nice guy. That's why people are like, oh, he's such a nice guy. Because even when he's mean, he's nice. Even when he says things that upset people, he's doing it. One, because he genuinely believes it, and two, to motivate them to do better. So what a nice guy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, sometimes I feel like you're meanest to the people you love the most, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and that sounds ridiculous.
Really
to
love
say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Every says
Guy, the second strongest man in CrossFit.
A little extra fire. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's it's all very. I think though on the point of you being paid to talk about it, like it's your job kind of thing. And then people meeting you in person and there being this difference. And I think one thing Grid is doing really well is leaning into the drama with a lot of things. So like, obviously there was drama between the Venoms and the Breakers, right? Like there's a lot of drama there. Last season, there was, big drama that's kind of bled over into this season. And I love that they're not shying away from that. Like as professional as they try to make Grid be, and we've talked about that, they'll mention kind of stuff that's going on, like on the stream, in the commentary. They'll talk about it, and that gets people engaged, right? That match is more interesting because I know that there are fans in the crowd wearing anti-Venom shirts. Like that's interesting. Like what's going on there? And I think for you, like you want people to listen, right? You want people to care. So it has to be an exaggerated version of yourself to a degree, right? Because it's a product. It's like this is John Young the pundit versus John Young the stay-at-home with his kid guy, kind of like or at a competition speaking with his friends in a more calm manner. Like if you want people to tune in and listen, there needs to be a hook, right? Something to kind of keep them listening. Yeah, and then people don't understand that. And they're like, this is 100% who he is, and I've got to run with that.
Yeah. Now, I do want to say, I never say something that's not my honest opinion. I don't like it. I would do 100% believe in everything that I say. If it just
I think it's more the delivery.
Yeah, but that delivery is not going to change, man. That's just what comes out. Like it's and like I wouldn't say. Okay, I'll put it like this. I would not say anything online that I wouldn't say directly to this person's face. But like in person, I think they accept that delivery much, much, much better because you can see where it's coming from. It's not coming like with like a bully or like a maleficent like intention. They're like, that because you could see it, you could feel it. What the vibe is. Right.
But also, isn't it going to also be part of a bigger conversation? Right. So like if you want to that comment that you're giving, when you give it on a show online, it's maybe 10 seconds. Right. It's like move on to the next person. What do you think about so-and-so? Oh, well, they did this and that was terrible. Bang, move on. Whereas if you saw them in person, there would be the kind of preamble of like, hey, how are you doing? Oh, good. Oh, is that your kids over there? Nice to see them. And already now when you say those exact same 10 seconds, there's just a different vibe compared to they didn't even listen to the hour and a half show. They got sent the 10-second clip.
Yeah, 100%.
And sent a 10-second clip saying, "Can you believe what John Young said about you?"
Now
they're going in.
Let me ask you this: Do you think it was dirty of Tom to clip all those clips together and put it on the internet?
Yeah, I mean, I guess without seeing the whole, like it's hard, isn't it? You clip lots of little bits
because he clipped things to make me. I was complimenting multiple people, and he clipped it in a way where it's just me insulting them. Now, and I don't think people understand that. Like, I think that's atrocious.
Yeah.
I think that's so dirty for somebody to do. And it's fine. He did what he did. Like, it doesn't matter. You know, again, if you don't want to like me because of that, that's fine. I don't care. But Jason, there's things like I could clip. You're the most on the fence guy I've ever seen. And I could clip YouTube in a way to make you sound like you call somebody some terrible things. And if I did that to you, how upset would you be about that? Is that cool for me to do?
No, absolutely not. I mean, that's
what happened. And like nobody cares. And I think that's a little bit messed up. But
well, because I think if I mean, I can't remember now when this happened, like how many months back we're going now, but I do remember seeing people trying to post up, like, for context, here's like it's from minute here to minute here. Like,
I know. I got people that have my back because they know. I know. But I'm saying the
of course, like,
you're
but that's isn't it? People don't do their homework. This is always, I mean, but that's, you know, you're saying me being like the most on the fence person. That was sort of the whole.
You're more of a you're mediator. When I say that,
I know what you mean, but
I'm not.
But that's what I mean. Like, that's why in the first place I even started doing anything was because I was really tired of, like, this has happened and you should feel this way about it. And I was like, well, hold on, why should I, you know, I don't get that. So I would come out and be like, okay, this has happened. This is what this person's done. This is what this person's done. Here's all the information. Now you know, feel free to go and form your own opinion and be upset or be happy or whatever. Like, that was the kind of the genesis for the whole thing, was because I was tired of that. And it's funny, like the clipping thing, I was listening to a podcast today, and they were talking about do you know this documentary about what's it called, like Jinx? It was it was like you know, one of these true crime things. And basically the end of this first season, it's like clip this bit where the guy that's been, you know, he's on trial for these murders. He's still mic'd up and he goes to the toilet and he's still mic'd up, and it ends with him sort of mumbling like, oh, what did you do? You killed them all. And like, it ends like that. And it's, you know, this big dramatic thing.
Yeah.
And then they actually have the transcript, and he did say that, but not in that order and with some other bits. And when they read back the full transcript, you're like, it sounds like the ramblings of a crazy person who's like, you know, oh, you killed them all. Oh, what did you do? Oh, and instead of it being like, what did you do? And then answering the question.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Like, if you know, as you said, you can clip anything, right? Like, there's so much content online now that you could just go through and that's why you've got to make sure you're wearing a different t-shirt every time you're on a show, so they can't just clip word for word and stitch it together and be like, can you believe John Young said this?
Yeah, that way. Yeah. Well, just every single topic, I just switch his shirt on. That's what I should do.
Yeah. Well, make sure you're always looking in a different direction. You've got a different hat on, whatever works for you. Just, yes. No, I do think that is, you know, the danger of it being so easy now and everybody can do it. You know, if you've got CapCut on your phone, go at it. You can clip together whatever you want. That is a problem. There we go. Okay.
I didn't mean to harp on that. I because I've said mean things to people.
Yeah.
Like, and I get it if somebody don't like me 100%. I've had conversations with games athletes where like, why did you say this? And I was like, because I don't think you'll ever be that good. And I said that to their face. And then some are and some aren't. And when they are, it's F you to me. Like, that's great. Like, you yeah, you proved me wrong. You deserve everything you're getting. You're like, that's awesome. And then if I'm right, that's because I believed that. And that's what I said. But I don't think it was brought to light how dirty that was. And it was just like me trying to still be in grid. So I have to apologize for it. And which is, again, it's fine. But yeah. I just don't think that part of it was brought to light. And I don't think the grid community, and that's why I wanted to get that's why I kind of ranted on it here. And I apologize for it. But I don't think the grid community quite understands that's what happened. Yeah. And I think it's dirty. But I didn't mean to. I'm saying I'm sorry for bringing it up.
I think I'm glad you brought it up. I think it's it raises an excellent point. I think it was looking back at it, like, even at the time, in fact, I don't think I spoke out about it at all because as always, like I
don't remember you doing.
I didn't jump on the like, oh, can you believe that? Because I'm again looking at it like, here's the thing, John's like, I'm sure, like, absolutely you were aware of grid, like, you can't be in the fitness space and know the athletes that did grid before doing CrossFit, or people like Justin Cutler, stuff like you knew what grid was
for sure,
but you were not following grid.
No, I don't know any
closely, so you didn't know any of the athletes' names. So you're going to use descriptors. You're going to talk about people like that. And as you said, you were throwing out compliments over here, criticizing something bad over there, like you would if I went and watched you talk about any kind of CrossFit event.
For sure.
The difference being you would have been so much more familiar with who all the athletes were, their backgrounds, what they're good at, what they're bad at. Like, okay, that lift that looks kind of terrible in comparison to everyone else was actually, close to a PR for them. So that was impressive. You know what I mean? You've got so much more context just because. So I already think you were in a tricky position, and it was, commendable what you guys were. I was happy that you were shining a spotlight on grid anyway. It's a shame that spotlight caught fire and sort of just caused trouble.
Well,
but
John is just like unapologetically honest with no filter, right? And I think that's the thing that catches people off guard. It's like he's just like, whatever comes to my mind, it's gonna come out and I'm gonna say it. And like that's part of the reason why I liked John so much in the very beginning, because the person you're talking to and the way he's talking to you, like that's truly him. Whereas you got some people out there who will be two-faced and they'll act one way in front of you, they'll turn around and they'll say some stuff behind your back. Like, I'd rather you tell me, I think your form is crap. And it'd be like, it just is. Like, that's just how I feel. Rather than you saying, you're not that bad, actually. And it'd be like, you're just straight up lying to me. Like, I would rather take the hard brutal medicine honesty from John. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Like, give me that. And again, I'm like, and I think that's because I'm the same way too. It's like, I'll be honest to people in their face and like be very kind at the same time. But I do think, like you said earlier, the like presentation of it, I think that I'm a little bit softer on the edges than for John would be.
Yeah. You're a golden retriever.
What I like is I think John's got grid speed locked in, but he's also got it from like brain to mouth is grid speed as well. So it's just like, I thought it, I said it, it's out there. Whereas you're the one going like, stay in the penalty box a second, don't move yet. That's going to be a bad rep. Oh no, too late. All right. Final thing then, but I am glad you brought that up. I think that's an interesting point. I think it's nice to have it clarified that. I mean, I brought up earlier, how did you feel going in kind of to the Lion's Den with, people feeling a certain way about you?
And that's great. They'll love that. That was good. That was clever. I don't know if you meant to do that, but that was clever.
And then, but that's like another angle to it that I hadn't considered, is you're not just going in there thinking, oh, how are they going to react to me, or or what happened, but it's also, how are they going to react to me? And I'm not even sure they should react in a certain way, because I feel that there was some bias in the way things were presented as well. So it adds another element there, which is interesting. Just looking ahead to Saturday, anything you're really looking forward to in the matches, in the races? Anything we should be I'm sure now people know, oh, if Matt's doing some kind of handstand, we should be watching him. But for many of us,
we try to keep it a secret as long as possible.
Do you? Yeah. So
he tries, but other people knows that there's a triad coming up that has some handstand walking in it too. So, and if they're, like you said, everybody saw the clip anyways on our last match. I've always been fast on my hands.
Yeah, everyone saw the clip. Oh, we tried to keep it a secret. I'm pretty sure you were reposting it the most.
No. We tried to keep it secret up to that match. Is what I was trying to say. Yeah.
There've been plenty of practices where I'm like, oh my goodness, can I post this? And Sophia and John, especially on our Instagram group, they're like, absolutely not. Do not post anything. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna be radio silent until the season starts. But after week 1, there's no radio silence anymore. I think everybody knows, like, don't throw your best handstand walker against me. Save them for something else.
But wouldn't you prefer that though? Like nobody knows who you are, and then all of a sudden they were like, "What the freak is this guy?" Like just.
I think that the best part of it was just watching your judges like
trying to tell us to do handstand walk. I'm like, give it 3 seconds. Just wait 3 more seconds, and then you'll figure it out.
Yeah,
that was the most fun part. Is like you watch, like that's why I repost it so many times, because every time I watch it back, you watch a different person in the background, and you're just like, what's their reaction like? What's it? Because like I love it. My wife makes fun of me. She's like, I'm always like, I'm humble. Like I don't need the notoriety. And she's like, BS, Matt, you love it. Like don't try to front. You do love it. But I actually like, I love the reactions, because it's just like seeing people smile, laugh, be blown. They're like, how is that like that's the best part. Like making people be like, oh my God, like that's humanly possible. And I'm like, yeah, like you could do it too. You just have to wrestle for 8 years and practice partner cartwheels forever.
I think I'd love to hear John's opinion on this, but also you, Matt, as the expert handstand walker. The handstand ramp is one of the things I've been most surprised at in all the years it's now been, I think, like 3 full seasons I've been sort of following grid. I was surprised how much people struggled with the handstand walk and ramp, because I'll caveat with, generally you see the more complex skills in grid before you see them at like CrossFit events, like gymnastics complexes, things like that. I have seen, even like at just smaller comps here in the UK, people go up and down the ramp, up the ramp, down the stairs, up the stairs, down the ramp, have to do a pirouette before or after, like whatever, at CrossFit competitions. And so when it showed up in grid, I just thought, these people are going to absolutely smash this. And I was surprised how many struggled. And I know, obviously, the fatigue from previous races, things to do with their roster and all of that. But did it surprise you that so many people had trouble on the handstand?
No, dude, the ramp is hard. And especially if you're not just like, if you have done something before it. Like it wasn't like it was the first thing in that thing. It was like the third thing. And then you have the barbell after, right? So if you have done anything before the ramp, like it's like if you did a CrossFit workout and then in the middle of the CrossFit workout or handstand ramps, and if you're able to do that efficiently, then you'll be fine. But that's way different than just being able to do the ramp. Yeah. Like if I'm like practicing for a week, 1 out of every 3 shots, I can get the ramp, right? But then somebody's like, oh, he can do the ramp. I would not make it on like this triad. Even if I was working it, I wouldn't, because you'd have to do your hang kettlebell snatches first, and then your pullovers, and then the wall balls. You do 15 heavy wall balls and then try to do the ramp. It's just wildly different than just the ramp fresh. And especially in grid, your gymnastics people, like a lot of teams, they're not CrossFitters, they're actual gymnasts, right? And that's not a gymnast thing. It's a CrossFit thing. And yeah, gymnasts can they can figure it out real quick, but it's not fast because they have to be pretty when they do it. Right. Yeah. And they're
usually the like super vertical.
Correct. I mean, we have one. Taylor's like that. And like speed wise, it's just way, way different.
Yeah.
So
do like a pirouette in a little tiny box and they'll just go all day, like perfect. But yes, they're not.
And like CrossFitters, I think so. This next match, I'm pretty sure this next one, Matt, where we have the spin around shoulder taps, or is that match?
Yeah, it's this one. We have this one.
Yeah. So where you do the pirouette shoulder taps, this next match, I think a lot of CrossFitters would struggle to do 3 in a row. A lot. And
we just saw that at NCC. We had pirouettes at NCC.
Oh, yeah, that was just pirouettes without the shoulder taps.
Without the shoulder taps. Just circles on the thing. Like
and like you will, I don't think grid people will struggle near as much with this as they did with the ramp. And it's just the difference in things. You know, CrossFit's doing stuff under fatigue 24/7. So like if you're a decent handstand walker and you practice the ramp a lot, you're able to do it under fatigue. Grid people are not like that. It's like, I'm going to go as fast as I can, do some stuff. And then the ramp was there and it didn't work out for a lot of teams.
Was there any part of you? I mean, Matt, obviously you're very confident on your hands, but we've just talked about, the buildup of fatigue, all the other stuff that, you will have done in the day. Knowing that you had to like hit all 3. Was that because other people, I think, on other teams were pretty confident they'd hit their ramp and maybe one of them couldn't and somebody would jump in and do it for them or try or whatever, or they'd go again and maybe get it. Knowing you had to kind of hit all 3, like, was there any part of you that was, oh no, like, or it was just such a foregone conclusion that you would, like, John's nodding. John is confident on your behalf.
It's one of those things of like, I've done it for so long. Like, I know, like, back in 2016, I was on a games team, and like we practiced the ramp all the time. And like we had girls on our team that, like, there was one girl in particular, she couldn't really do it. So spending a lot of time teaching and showing and whatnot. But yeah, dude, if I'm upside down, it doesn't matter how tired I am. There's never been a workout where there's been a 25-foot or even 50-foot handstand walk that I haven't done unbroken, no matter how messed up, eyes roll in the back of my head. I'm just that confident on my hands being upside down. So like, yeah, going into the 3, I mean, I'll be honest, the third last one, I slowed down a little bit, and you can kind of see that. But that was more of it because
I've heard your anger when you've talked about
this. Like there were a little bit of a speed wobble towards the end of that one. Because I did it way faster whenever I did no warm up, and we just showed up to the venue and they were setting it up. But no, yeah, it's something that, like, I've done it since 2016, like on a very regular basis. And then to be honest, I hadn't done one since 2018 when I switched over to Olympic weightlifting full time, trying to get on Team USA. And like, dude, getting back on it's just like riding a bike. Once you've got it and you've got it figured out, as well as I did, like, it wasn't really a thing to think about. And because of the way I do my handstand walks, it makes me perfect for a handstand walk ramp, because I don't have a perfect straight up and down form. I am a falling forward leaning guy every time I handstand walk. So going up the ramp, going up the stairs, you have to have that obscene forward lean, which is why people who are really good at handstands, like John is saying, grid people who are usually gymnasts, they're used to keeping their center of mass perfectly above them. And now I'm used to my center of mass. Yeah.
You're a hands chasing my feet kind of guy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm falling. Was it in Toy Story where it says he's not flying, he's
falling with style.
Yeah, that's me. I'm handstand falling and my hands are keeping up somehow, some way.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay, good. I'm happy to hear that. I'm looking forward to the sandbag ladder. I think that could be interesting. So that's I think the first time they've done that. So we've talked about height at the beginning. I wonder how much that's going to come into play for some people.
I think a lot, dude.
The last height is 4 inches taller than my head.
It's really hard. Yeah. So I think a lot of people are going to fail the last one that were successful in practice.
Yeah.
I also think a lot of people are just going to go ahead and skip that last one and not even attempt it.
For sure. But I guarantee there's people who think they have it that end up missing.
Okay. I hope the Sharks try to go for a perfect run through again and then blow.
I don't think they would on this one.
No, they're smart. Fico's smart. He won't make them do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I could be one of us. I'm pretty good at the fourth bag, but you get going too fast. Like, it's one of those things where you have to do it quickly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you get one shot.
You can't just sit here with it. So, like, it hits funky. It doesn't matter how strong you are. I'm perfectly capable of missing it too. If it hits funky.
I mean, it sounds like you're making excuses ahead of time, John, to be honest. So,
I don't plan on missing it, but I'm just saying.
I don't plan on missing it, but if I do, could you just play this clip?
No. I'm giving the people who miss it, like, the reason why they miss it is because you have to go fast. So, like, if it just doesn't hit right, then it didn't hit right.
Right.
He's giving the other people an excuse. He's like, here's your out. Here's your out.
For sure. Yeah.
This is how he's trying to redeem himself and make friends now with all the grid.
Yeah.
Like,
I tell you what,
however you want it.
I do think I'll beat Matt in this one. I know that. Matt beat me by a second in the thruster ladder. I feel much more confident about this one.
Yeah. I told him last week, I was like, I think you're gonna have to chalk this one up as a win for you. We'll go ahead and put that in your column.
I actually think the fastest time, because we were giving Kidder credit on the first one because he beat Matt by a second. Matt beat me by a second. I think Joshua Newell is going to have the fastest time on this because he can strict press 315. So, and I'm gonna tell you something. I cannot do that. He's just going to be able to, and he's like 6 foot, right? So, or 6 foot, 6'1", around there. So, like, I do not think I'll be able to move the bag as fast as him. Everybody else, I think I'll be up there. But
You talking about somebody coming up with excuses already. Josh is like over here. He's like, Bags gets a little sweaty in the wrong
Anyone
spot.
can miss.
Don't put that pressure on
I
me.
am gonna run from bag to bag. I tell you, you should be ashamed. If I beat you in time on this, Josh, you should be ashamed of yourself. I don't know if I would even show up to the next match, honestly.
No gamesmanship going on here.
No, there's no way he should be able to beat me in this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, everybody, Saturday, come, eyes peeled, stopwatches ready. Let's. It's hard enough to follow the ladders to like. You're trying to watch two different teams run. And you're like, okay, they've 1, 2, 3. Oh, they skipped the fourth one. Oh, they've done all 4. Okay. Oh, now the girls are going. Like you're trying to do the maths in your head. If I'm also trying to time each individual run as well at the same time, this is going to be
not just the people who matter, Jason. You know who those people are.
Okay, all right. Well, I will be there on the live stream. I'll be cheering you guys on. You won't be able to hear me, but you know I will be there. Lovely catching up. All the best Saturday. Looking forward to seeing you both back out on the floor in yellow again. And yes, and so that'll be good.
I'm trying to keep track of how many strength specialists I beat in the ladders that we do this year because I'm racking them up after the thruster ladder already. I'm the bodyweight specialist, you guys. Like, what are we doing out here? Like, and I know there are bodyweight specialists that are out there. They're like, Matt, we saw your back rise to a forward roll. Stay in your lane, buddy.
Hey, how about you're a utility player?
Supposed to do, Matt? How about that?
I know, right? Do your job. Just do your job.
Yeah, that's where they say, like, maybe if you hadn't been trying so hard to beat all the strength specialists, you might actually have been able to do what you needed to do on the rings as a bodyweight specialist. I don't know, just say.
I'm learning. It's my rookie year.
Oh,
there's my excuse.
So Josh is saying he have all the times from every player's thrusters. Did you know that?
Is he timing it from when we lock out or when we actually get across the line?
Also, I had a false start on mine. I'm not counting that. I'm counting when I actually started. Okay. They called me back. I watched the girl's hand go down and then went, and they called me back still. I was like, you prick. And then had to go back and restart. I'm not counting that. That doesn't start my time. We start
the
from the
prick
start.
Was to himself. He was talking to himself. He wasn't talking to any judges. He was just talking to himself.
Or any teammate.
I'm on the right on that one. I'm like, okay. And then
yeah. Are you sort of aware of like how much data people gather within the grid teams and the coaches and that? Like, yeah. Well, because I mean,
this points thing. I'm like, yo, I don't do anything. Apparently, these impact scores or whatever.
Okay,
I was like, dang.
Matt, you don't want a
worthless stat.
Don't want a good impact score. Just so you know,
if your impact score is high, it means and I don't want to say
your team is bad.
What? No, it means you don't have people. It doesn't mean your team's bad. It means you have so it's Matt, if we have 5 people and all of us run every race and we lose every one of them, all of our impact scores will be higher than everybody.
Got you.
It's just the amount of races that you play. And I'm sure winning's worth a certain amount, losing is worth a certain amount. But now in saying that, Taylor Sturgis had the highest impact score and his team was great. So it's not, but it's not. It's a worthless stat. We should I don't know how you. Well, so I think they can come up with an equation where the races you run, you can time everybody's times, and this would take a lot more manpower. But you can take everybody's times and those specific things, have the fastest times, and then equate that to a point total. For instance, the palm sky on the pistol stick jump overs, and in that 4-2 section of all the guys that did that and girls in that 4-2 section. You time just that and then do the appropriate point score. And then an equal amount of points would be allotted to the fastest 9-7. Because honestly, I feel like that race is just won in the beginning of who can go the fastest, unless you can't do the last section. But that 9-7 would have an equal scoring down the line, and it should be scored separately. Ladder's pretty self-explanatory. Mirror, you just get points if you win, right? But they should break it down for much more than they do, because right now it's just how many races you play. And I actually think you could figure out a really good equation to make it great. It would just take a little bit more. It would be way more in depth.
We'll have to get Tyler or my buddy Justin on it, who come up with all these scoring systems with P
Aces
score
won every
and
match for the
RPM.
championship and never had anyone in the top.
Think about this. Think about this. Your team could be bad and you could lose a lot. But if your little split was the fastest in the entire league, you should get credit for that. And nobody would know, right? Because your team is bad as a whole.
Right. So you're buried in the race.
Correct.
Because the people ahead of you and behind you didn't do their job, but
you're Kobe Bryant with Smush Parker as your teammate. And and that's no offense to Smush Parker. If you're on a team with a bunch of smushes, that's no offense to those guys, but you're Kobe freaking Bryant. You should get credit for that. And like I think there's a way you can find that equation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Figuring out how fast I did my 3 Rams versus everybody else's 3 Rams.
Oh, we can't do P score because
no.
Matt should not get P score for what he gets done. He'll get the most points, but we're not P scoring that bit. Okay,
we're all getting negative points out here.
but Arthur is like a real data nerd for grid. Like he is one of those that is timing. We were talking about like the jumping or the stepping with the dumbbells on the box. At the last rate, and he had like the splits they'd done for stepping, the splits they'd done for jumping. Like he loves to gather data. Him and Dan, Josh is another. So don't threaten me with a good time doing this.
Does he understand grid, Matt?
He's the kind of guy. He's an engineer. He understood it after he watched the second match, and his brain dissected it.
I can figure out like reps
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. The thing is, he probably already has put something together in the like 5 minutes that I've said something. He's that kind of guy.
Oh, see, look, Josh is saying, so Tom Soroka, and this should be Sydney Wilson, had the second most impactful mirror quadrant of the match, but they didn't win the race. So that's exactly to your point, John. So fastest for their little section, but let down by
they should get credit for that. And like that means they should have. I think they should have the highest score out of the whole league. Those two people. And then it's like if you win, -10 +10. So say like you get 100 for being the highest score in the whole league, right? And then you lost -10, you get 90 for that, right? So the third fastest time would be like 92, and then you add 10 for them because they won. So even though they're the third fastest, their team won, they get 102. Tom and Sydney get 90, but overall, in the grand scheme of things, all of that will balance out because you should have an impact on winning. A lot of that strategy.
And most importantly, none of this actually affects the results of the races. All the normal people like me that are like, what?
What? Yeah.
I saw them cross the line first. They got 2 points. They crossed the line and they got 1 point.
You won't even mention this in the commentary. But if you're going to do a freaking impact score, that's impact. How many times you run a race is an impact. You could be trash and you're out there every single time and nobody knows why you're out there, and then ends up having the highest. You're the coach's kid. I don't know. You're always out there and you suck. And then you have the highest impact score in the whole league. Everybody knows you suck, but then you get this impact score that's 1,000. Like it doesn't make sense. Like there should be ways of doing this. If you suck, you should get awarded for sucking the way you should. And then if you're great, you should be awarded for being great like you should.
Yeah. I think the only coach's kid that's played so far was maybe Jess last season when she
I'm not insulting any unborn children that aren't you get out of here right now, Jason.
Oh, you're trying to put you under the bus there.
Another thing about Jess. I'm just
yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Both of you guys, of course, welcome back on any time. Especially Matt, if you do something impressive in the next, in the next, set of races, then we have to bring you back on. Bring some of your other friends. I need to. I don't know. I've over the last couple of hold on, John.
I'll let myself leave then.
You as well, John. You can bring.
I want to hear it.
You're just a them. You're just a them. Remember, it's Jason and them.
What I was going to follow that with is obviously over the last couple of seasons, I've got to know a lot of the players on the other teams. I have not yet gotten to know many of the Bandits players, so I'm looking forward this season to learning more about them as individuals beyond just them being phenomenal athletes. Is what I wanted to say. And like also that with the grid thing is, I think the other thing to remember is absolutely everybody out there like are incredible. So even the teams that are coming dead last, it's like, yeah, but that's still really good what they're doing. Like they are still, you know, super impressive athletes. So wonderful.
Fico being mean. Come on, Fico. You wanted me at one point. You wanted to be my friend. He is still my friend.
He was talking about us?
We hugged last match. Yeah,
I thought he was talking about like the coach's kid. Or
No. That was when I said
I'm gonna rinse you up on the barbell spin show. You're not gonna be allowed to see that anymore. That's
I'm like, why is Young and Matt doing a media tour? Yeah, I know.
Because we're Mighty Mouse in the JY Brick House. That's why people want us. Well, I don't know if they want us, but they're getting us whether they want to or not.
Yeah. Well, you'll have a chance to, you know, say whatever you want on Monday. So just before I let John and Matt go, and while people are still listening, I suppose I should say, so grid is kicking off on Saturday. We're going to have the next set of matches on Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, which would be 11 a.m. Pacific, if I'm right, guys, which would be 7 p.m. for me. I'll be doing another recap show. So far, I think we've got Mr. Gomez himself. Taylor Stallings will be there. Brandon McMillan, as we've talked about, the man who calls the no reps. Maybe Jess is actually joining us on the show as well. So that would be nice. And potentially there's another spot or two that could get filled up. So, you know, hey, if you want to be on the show, maybe reach out. That would be nice as well. And I haven't sent those links out yet. So if you're like, hey, but he didn't send me a link, it's coming. It's coming down the line. Don't worry, guys. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, John. All the best this weekend. And thank you, everybody, for, you know, sticking around in the chat. We appreciate that.
Yeah. Thanks for having us on, man. This was fun.